So, by now you probably heard a lot of people talking about the fact that as of today, Cody Rhodes and Brandi Rhodes are no longer with All Elite Wrestling. They are gone. In other words, they are out the window or out the door. And everybody has been talking about this from, those that I follow, like JD from NY206, Just Alex, many others. Everybody's been talking about this. Everybody's been talking about this. And for rightful reasons. Here is a man that was at the center of this promotion. He was basically the heart and soul of All Elite Wrestling, along with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Page, and many others. He was essentially at the center. Now, true, a lot of people would criticize him for basically wanting to be part of AEW, taking the shots that he did, like what he did at the first, or the first pay-per-view officially under the name Double or Nothing, where he smashed the Triple H-like throne with a sledgehammer. He took out the golden shovel recently, the sledgehammer and all that. People will come out and say that the only reason Cody wanted to be part of AEW, wanted to be a founder, EVP and all that, have the spotlight and everything, was to basically show WWE, hey, see, I can be a main event guy too! Yay! And look, has he proven that he can do more than just be what WWE, put him through or assigned him to? Yeah, he has. He's proven it time in and time out. But here's the thing, though. Recently, over the past several months, a lot of talent that has been with AEW since almost the beginning, who has been there at least from the first full year, going forward, have come out and basically stated that it's not all wine and roses, if you will, on the AEW side of things. That it's not greener on this side of the pasture like some people are thinking. I mean, you have Melissa Santos coming out and saying her husband is one of the most over men in this business, one of the more popular men in this business, and yet he has not sniffed anything in AEW since he lost the FTW title to Ricky Starks. He's not sniffed anything. And then recently you have Hikaru Shida coming out and saying that, she just loves being booked in catering or something like that. You're hearing all these stories. You heard about the dissension, the breakdown of the friendship, the camaraderie between Cody and the Elite. You're hearing the dissension that he's had with Tony Khan at times. And now Tony Khan, as Cody put it in a tweet today, basically officializing his departure, Tony has taken the baton, if you will. Tony Khan has taken the baton and is running with it. And then Tony Khan's response was not only to thank Cody and Brandi, for the contributions and helping AEW, get to where it's at, but then he signs it at the end, Tony Khan, this title, that title, this title, that title, every single title you could think of, under the sun, he basically, put himself, he put under his name. Oops. Sorry about that, but like I said, every title you can think of, from what Cody has had, from what Brandi had, to everything else, from, Booker to owner and all that, he put under his name after, when he finished that thank you thing to Cody and Brandi. So, you can only imagine basically how some people felt about that, how they felt about, Tony Khan basically signing a thank you letter to Cody and Brandi for the contribution to AEW, and then putting a list of all these different titles underneath his name. I mean, JD from NY206, even though he's been very positive towards AEW in the past, in the past and everything. Hold on for a sec. But like I said, he puts all these different titles, even some that Cody used to have, under his name after he signs it. Now, JD from NY206, like I was saying, he looked at that And even that kind of upset him, and to a point to where he's like, Tony Khan didn't have to go and do that because it sounds like what Tony Khan is doing is taking shots at Cody. Now, here's the thing about Cody's departure, Cody and Brandi's departure, okay? Is it surprising? Absolutely. You would think out of anybody that would want to remain with that company to try to help thrive that company to the next level, it would be Brandi and Cody. But it's not happening. Apparently they have, decided to, move on elsewhere and potentially, according to rumors, go back to WWE. Now, here's the thing though. A lot of people that are talking about this, like, just Alex from NY206. Well, not to NY206, excuse me there. But just Alex, of Just Alex Central on social media and, just Alex here on YouTube. I was kind of getting distracted there. My dog's walking around and everything. As I've told you before, my mom kind of worries about that when she does it. But anyway, like I was saying, just Alex, is even trying to, kind of debate, go back and forth on whether or not this is legit or to work. And the reason he wants to believe more so, and it sounds like this in my opinion, with all due respect to Alex, it sounds like what Alex is trying to say here is that he wants to believe more than anything that it's a work. He wants to believe more than anything that what Cody, Brandi, in a collaboration with Tony Khan are doing is working everybody, so that way, he'll basically reveal that it's all a work and everything, and thus kind of complete a heel turn that everybody feels that he needs to take, he needs to have. And, if that is indeed true, then hey, bravo on their part. But we don't know if it's true. We don't know. We can't say, yay or nay on the fact that it's a work or if it's legit. Because we do know his contract expired back in December. And we know it hasn't been renewed. So with that, being the situation there, the question is what's next for him and Brandi. And apparently it looks like a return to WWE is on the table, which confuses a lot of folks because they're like, well, wait a minute. Cody's been taking shots at this company since the beginnings of AEW. Why would he want to go back? And that is a good question. No one really knows. Could it be because he wants more money? Maybe it's because of the fact that he feels he's proven himself to WWE enough to be like, see, now you can put me in the main event. I've gone out and learned how things work around here. Now I can bring that experience that I learned outside of the company back to it, if you will. Excuse me there. Let me get something to drink. Maybe that's it. We don't know. We don't know if maybe that's why he's going back because, history has shown that when certain talent leaves WWE and goes elsewhere, they come back, that eventually when they do come back, I should say, they come back with a better understanding of how things work and what they can bring from their experience outside of WWE to the company itself. We've seen it with Bobby Lashley, we've seen it with Drew McIntyre, many people that we have seen leave WWE and come back in their own unique way has taken what they've learned outside of the company, the experience they gained outside of the company, and have helped apply it to what they do in the company now, as well as help share, what they've, learned elsewhere with the company, so that the company knows how to basically use it, utilize that experience they're being given from the people that return to help them, the people that return, as well as some of the new talent. Now, is Cody in that position to where, hey, he can go back to WWE, he's got this experience of how to, run a company, how things work, like how things should be, promoted, what kind of booking should be done for certain individuals. Could he, is that one of the reasons he's coming back, to bring that experience? Maybe. Maybe it is, but we're not sure. All we know, according to several reports, is that his camp has been in talks with WWE. Now, again, going back to what Alex was trying to, go back and forth with, in his video. In fact, he started out with this when he started talking mainly about the topic. of potentially this being a work. Alex's argument is if it is a work, which you could tell, and I say it again with all due respect to Alex Hicks, to just Alex, you can see that Alex wants this to be a work. He wants it to be, the biggest work, the biggest, troll job by, AEW, by Tony Khan, Cody and Brandi that we've seen. He wants it so bad to be that, because he feels, and he still strongly believes this, that if one person should take the AEW World Championship from Hangman Adam Page, it's not Adam Cole, it's not CM Punk, it's not Danielson, it's got to be Cody Rhodes. Because he feels that what we've been seeing over the past several months, these are just the first necessary steps for Cody to become, a full-fledged heel, and the only way he could complete, that transition is to be the AEW World Champion. However, Cody has gone on record on television by saying, I'm not going to be a heel, and I'm not going to null and void my agreement that if I didn't beat Chris Jericho for the title, I would never challenge for it again. Now, again, I understand that, guys like Alex, fans like Alex want this to be a work because in reality, it could work. It could be probably the best work, any promotion has done in a while. Because legitimately, you could have Cody re-sign, his contract, and then state that in his new contract, there's no stipulation saying he can't challenge for the world title. And then there you go. He has basically an open door to challenge for the world championship. Because he doesn't have to abide by the stipulation of his previous contract. And maybe that's what happens. Maybe what Alex is envisioning takes place. Maybe Adam Page comes out, says you're selling out, you sold out this company, you helped build this company, and now you want to go and work for the competition that basically held you down and reveal the secrets and everything of this company to them so that you can break this company down and everything. Maybe that's what happens. Maybe Adam Page confronts him, Cody challenges him to a match, Cody beats him with the assist maybe from Brandi, reveals that he's already signed a new contract long before, and then reveals that the only reason he pretended that he was leaving, without telling anybody that he actually signed a contract, is so he can get the world title. Because his old contract states he can't challenge for the title, because he lost previously to Chris Jericho. That might be what happens. That might be the case. We don't know. For all we know, this Monday on Raw, or this Friday on a live SmackDown, a week from this Friday, because this Friday is taped, Cody could show up at Brandi and say, hey, Roman, I challenge you to a Universal title match. Or, hey, Brock, I challenge you to a WWE title match. Or, hey, Damian, I challenge you to a U.S. title match. Or, hey, Sammy, I challenge you to an Intercontinental title match. He could do that. He could end up potentially doing that, but we don't know. We don't know. All we know right now is his status right now is up in the air. But when you see someone like just Alex, along with others, trying to think in their minds, or trying to believe that this could be a work, and that it's being done so that, from a storyline perspective, Cody could get a shot at the world title and win it, and then reveal that he has signed a new contract, and that this new contract has no stipulation of him not challenging for the world title like the old one did, then yeah, that's a great troll job by AEW overall, Tony Khan, Cody, and Brandi, because, you're making us all talk about this as we speak, set the internet, the YouTube wrestling community, the YWC and the IWC, the internet wrestling community, on fire, just speculating on what he's going to do next. And, I got to applaud them if that's the case. You got a lot of people talking. You even got someone like JD from NY206 basically being upset with Tony Khan for taking a crack shot at Cody by listing all these different titles that he has, as part of it, as being in charge, as being part of, or basically as being the owner, basically the person in charge of AEW. He's putting all these titles under his name, You even have you're doing. I mean, if this is a troll job, it is a troll job of work, if you will. It's being done so well that, like I said, you have someone like JD from NY206, being upset at Tony Khan taking these quack shots, if you know what I mean. But then again, when you think about everything else we're hearing, with how, like I said, with Hikaru Shida saying that she just loves being in catering, rumors about Chris Jericho leaving, the whole thing with Brian Cage. It's almost like basically the honeymoon phase is beginning to end, if you know what I mean. It's like the honeymoon phase is ending and reality is setting in. It's like basically, the petals on the rose have been plucked off and all that remains is the thorns. It's like it's like the paint job you did on the walls in your room are starting to chip away, and you're starting to see the old color of the wall, behind it. You're starting to see the old color and everything. Like that new coat of paint, like as I just mentioned, it's starting to chip, and now you're seeing the old paint job underneath show up. Or stuff like that. Or basically the mask, that you were wearing to hide your identity or hide the truth is starting to tear away, and people are starting to see reality, as it is. And if what's going on with Cody is true, what's going on with Hikaru Shida is true, if what's going on with Brian Cage is true, what's going on with Jericho eventually is true, then this is a moment in time that no AEW fan wants to acknowledge. Even if they do find criticisms with some of the things AEW does, and they have. JD, just Alex, Monster, all of them have found criticisms, with AEW, probably less than some of the positives, but you get the idea. This is something that even the true diehard AEW faithful, they don't want to acknowledge this reality, this moment in time of, the fact that, thanks to, the likes of Hikaru Shida, Jericho, Rhodes, Cage, through his wife Melissa Santos, that basically the truth or the reality, the real truth, the reality of AEW as a whole is starting to become, it's starting to come into focus. It's starting to become, a reality, in their face. Basically, it's starting to basically make itself known, is what I'm trying to say. It's starting to make itself known, and they don't want that. They don't want to hear that this is what's going on with Hikaru Shida, this is what's going on with Cage, Jericho, Rhodes, you name it. They don't want to hear that. What they want to hear is, that's wrong. You're making that up. That's not right about AEW. AEW is strong. AEW is perfect. We will be number one. That's what a lot of these AEW faithful, the diehards, more than the other AEW fans, like it's just Alex or JD, that's what they want to hear. Now, and I say this with all due respect to Alex and JD, and even Solid Monster. Do they want a lot of what we're hearing about Cody and Hikaru Shida and Cage and Jericho to be nothing but rumors and works and lies? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the last thing they want is for Rhodes and Jericho to show up back on Raw or SmackDown in WWE. They don't want that. Because to them, that's just another sign to them. That's that's not another sign, but that's basically just, more evidence that AEW maybe is not exactly what, people believe it, believe it really is. They don't want, like I said, the rose to come off the bloom, or the bloom to come off the rose. They don't want the paint job that they put on the wall to chip away and for the real paint job to be known. They don't want the damage done to the wall that they're trying to cover up to be revealed. They don't want any of that. Because to them, it's going to be like, okay, maybe AEW is not the best place to be. Maybe it is just like Impact. Maybe it is like the WWE. And the truth will come out. The truth will come out and I say it with all due respect, no offense, the truth will come out that the only reason they're happy about AEW being around is because they have an alternative. They don't have to suffer through WWE all the time. But when you start hearing these reports and all that, it starts making them realize that, okay, maybe they're not so different. The only difference is they put more focus on the wrestling than just the stories. And they don't want to acknowledge that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want the reality of what's going on with Cody and Brandi to be true. They don't want the reality of what Hikaru Shida says on social media to be true, or what Big Swole has said to be true. They don't want none of this. They want AEW to remain untouched. They want it to remain untainted. But they can't prevent it from happening. And that's why when they look at this, and you have people like Alex, and again, I say it with all due respect to the man because I love his work, and I support him very much like you should. You know, this is why you have people like Alex trying to first look at the potential of it being a work. Because to them, if it is a work, like I said earlier, it is the best work that any promotion has ever done. Because you're making everybody talk about something that may not be totally true, and it's just a way to have the person sign a new contract, and then in stories acknowledge they signed a new contract, and oh, by the way, that contract doesn't say anything about me not getting a world title match. That could be what happens, and if it is, great, no problem. You know, you got my attention, you got everybody else's attention. Because if you can pull something like this off, who's to say what else you could pull off? But again, we're not totally sure. And that is what's really upsetting a lot of folks. They're not sure. I mean, Alex and JD and all of them are pointing out all these things that Cody and Brandi would be giving up. And it doesn't make sense that we want to give all this up if they're going back, should they go back to WWE? Because they're basing what, WWE has done on potentially happening to them. But we don't know. We don't really know. Again, for all we know, it could be a work. I mean, tomorrow night on Dynamite, Cody could show up, announce he's departing, saying he's probably going to go, it looks like he's heading back up to Connecticut. Paige comes out, says you're selling us out. Now you want to go up there, probably tell them what AEW is all about, give them secrets and everything, try to break us down. And then what does Cody do in response? Adam probably leaves saying, hey, you could have, that company could have you. They deserve you because you don't want to accept the truth about how people feel around here about you. And as soon as Adam turns around, Cody can grab him with the crossroads, then pull out a contract that says he just recently signed to stay with the company, and then say, oh, by the way, that contract doesn't say anything about me not getting a world title match. Because now I can. I'll see you at Revolution. That could happen. Again, that could happen. We don't know. We don't know. I mean, anything is possible, in wrestling. There's no doubt. But we don't know what's going on here with Cody. And like I said, it's got people talking. And it's got them talking, and first of all, looking at both sides of the spectrum and mostly trying to look in favor of it being a work more so than it being a reality. Because if it's reality, even the AEW, the supporters and fans of AEW, like a JD and a Just Alex, they're accepted because, hey, that's their decision, and they feel they've done what they could in AEW, help get it on the map and everything. Now they want to go back and take the experience, like I mentioned earlier, that they've learned of how to run a company, book, certain individuals and all that, and pass it on to those in WWE to help them improve. Then fine, more power to them. More power to them. It's just that they will believe in their minds that someone like Cody and Brandi will regret it. That's the thing. And you have the diehard, the true diehard, faithful AEW drones that feel like AEW can do nothing wrong. Now, when this gets pointed out to them, they're like, no, it's a lie. It's a lie. Cody will show up tomorrow, and he will reveal he signed a new contract, and he's going to challenge Adam Page to an Iron Man match for the title, 60 minutes of Revolution. Oh, the match will be so great, those spots and everything. Whoopee! That's what they want to see. That's what they want to hear. Like I said, someone like Alex, just Alex, JD, Solid Monster, they won't mind. They won't care, in a sense. Because if Cody feels like that's the best decision for him, so be it. But the AEW drones, the diehard faithful, the ones that feel AEW could do no wrong, that, Tony Khan is a god, like, oh, hail Tony Khan, the god of wrestling, Om, Om. To them, they don't want to hear any negativity. They don't want to hear this. To them, this is not real. So obviously the question is, will they be proven right? Is it a work? Or is it reality? We don't know. Because again, these are the same people that don't want to believe that Hikaru Shida is stuck in catering. They don't want to believe anything Melissa Santos says about Brian Cage not being utilized. They don't want to hear this or that. Well, you have people like just Alex and JD and Solomonster that talk about it, give their opinions about it, and will express that they don't like it, but will be okay with any decision they make, even if it may not sound that way to some people. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see what they do. If Cody Rhodes comes out tomorrow night, reveals, that, makes it sound like he's going to leave, and then he attacks Adam Page, and then reveals he signed a new contract, and the contract states he can get a world title match because the other one said he couldn't, then fine, no problem. Job well done, AEW. But if he doesn't show up tomorrow night, and we start seeing vignettes for him on either SmackDown or Raw, then I guess him going back to WWE is pretty much all but confirmed. But we have to see what the next step is. But what do you guys think of this whole Cody and Brandi Rhodes situation? What do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to head back to WWE? Do you think they'll work in everybody? Or what? What are your thoughts? Do you think Tony Khan, along with them, is working everybody, and Cody's going to reveal he signed a contract, he's going to get a world title match? Or do you think we're going to see vignettes for him and Brandi soon on WWE? What are your thoughts overall? Comment below. Live chat during the premiere. Super chats and super stickers are open and would be appreciated in the live chat, depending on how much you can do. Also, like I said, comment below. Comments will be welcome below. Also, check me out at BW Roses Discussions, all your favorite audio podcast locations except for Pandora. Also, check me out at Vimeo at BW Roses. New content is coming there real soon. Check me out at patreon.com/BW Roses to support me with a $1, $3 tier. Also, check me out at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2. And check me out at my Cash App at BW Roses 98. But again, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what you feel, how you feel about this whole thing with Cody and Brandi. Do you think it's a work? Do you think it's legit? What are your thoughts? Comment below and live chat during the premiere. And I'm out.